Hello, and welcome to the FM podcast. I'm Jen Fritz, and I run Fritz Media, a music publicity and digital marketing firm located in Vancouver, Canada. And this is episode number 19 of the podcast. So this week on the show, we're discussing a topic that has become increasingly important over the last year. That is mental health resources for musicians. And joining me on the show is the executive director of the Unison Benevolent Fund, Amanda Power. Now, Unison is a nonprofit registered music industry charity that provides counseling and emergency relief services to the Canadian music community. They help professional music makers in times of hardship, illness, or economic difficulties. As it states on Unison's website, for many, a career in music is a dream come true. However, the reality is that many members of the Canadian music community do not have access to the services that can make all of the difference in a time of need. Things like sick leave, medical benefits, pension plans, and unemployment insurance. Music makers can easily find themselves unprepared to deal with the financial and emotional burdens of an unforeseen emergency or illness. And boy, did we ever feel that over the last year. The Unison Benevolent Fund provides a lifeline in these times of crisis and is there to ensure in the health of our friends, colleagues, and collaborators. We are so lucky to have an organization like this in Canada, especially over the last year. And Amanda and I had a great discussion about how the pandemic has affected the music industry, how musicians and those that work in the music industry can get mental health assistance, and she shares some tips to help with our mental health well-being. We had a really great talk, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Here's my conversation with Amanda Power. Well, hello, Amanda. How are you doing today?
Hey, Jen. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. We tried to record this yesterday, and yesterday was not a good day for me, but Today is a better day. I feel a lot better.
Oh, good. Well, happy Saturday.
Yeah, happy Saturday to you. And thanks for doing it on a Saturday. I guess we're used to just doing things on weird days now, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've all, what's the key word? We've all learned to pivot.
Yes, exactly. The P word.
The P word. I'm so sick of it. But yes, we have.
So true. All right. So you and I, we met a few years ago at Breakout West in Kelowna while we were doing a mental health panel. So it's kind of fitting, that you're on the show today because we're going to discuss mental health resources for musicians. Before we get into that, though, I was wondering if you could maybe give us a bit of an idea of what exactly it is that the Unison Benevolent Fund does.
Well, Unison is Canada's music industry charity. And what I mean by that is we support everybody who works in the Canadian music industry, whether you're on stage or off stage. If you're a producer, a publisher, record label, management, artist, songwriter, or if you're part of a symphony orchestra or you're a DJ, we support everybody who works in Canadian music. We are the safety net. We're the lifeline when times get tough, and we provide support through two different programs. We have a counseling and health solutions program, and that is in partnership with a company called Morneau Chappelle. So people can call the 1-855-9-UNISON is the phone number, and they can access resources right from mental health counseling to nutrition advice. If they need legal advice or childcare, resources, elder care resources, as we all have aging parents. Yeah. So it's a real lifeline of resources for people who have questions and need some support, and it's all free. Our second program is our financial assistance program, and that provides emergency financial relief. And we've never seen a bigger crisis than we have with the pandemic. So we've had quite a lot of people. We've had a few thousand people getting a financial assistance through Unison. And both of our programs are free. There's no cost to register with Unison. Our programs are simply there to help and to try to keep people moving forward during difficult times.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the pandemic that we're in right now, and I can only imagine you must have seen a huge increase in people coming to you over this time. Yeah. Can you talk a bit about that? Have you been able to handle it? Has it been overwhelming?
Yes, it's definitely been overwhelming for the Unison staff, but we're a great support system for each other. We have a really great supportive board of directors, and the industry itself have been checking in on us, just trying to make sure that we're okay while we're trying to help as many people as we can. So in 2020, there was an over 3,000% increase in financial assistance applications.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. The Unison team was able to turn around and get money going out even faster than the federal government was. We're very proud of everything that we accomplished in the last 12 months. We've dispersed now it's over $2.5 million out across the country to individuals and their families. Yeah, it's been a lot. But we're good. We're a good little team. We work well together, and we have each other's backs, and we support each other during, the tough times, and we celebrate the good times. And yeah it's been busy.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, the people that are providing the resources, the mental health resources and financial resources, you need to check on you guys too, right? Like, we're all just human here. Jeez.
Absolutely.
This pandemic's been a lot for everybody. Holy cow.
It has been.
Yeah. It's been so crazy. Now, you mentioned you're able to get money out before the government. Does most of your funding come from like government resources? I know that you received a huge influx from the Ontario government recently. Where do you get most of your funding from?
Yeah, that's correct, Jen. We actually just received a $2 million grant from the government of Ontario to help Ontario music workers. But prior to that, that generous donation from the government, we had never received any money from either federal or provincial government. It was all through fundraising efforts and donations by very generous supporters of the music industry, such as, Mr. Gary Slate and the Slate Family Foundation,
right.
Darren Throop and E1 Entertainment, the Steele Family Foundation, Amazon Music, the three major record labels, as well as just, hundreds of fundraising opportunities right across the country. Especially when the pandemic hit, people were looking for ways to give back and to raise money to support the music community. And we just saw dozens and dozens and dozens of really interesting, unique fundraising opportunities that came through and said, hey, we want to give this to Unison. And all of that combined last year, we raised a total of $2.8 million
that's great.
Yeah, through donations and through fundraising efforts. And over 2.3 million of that went straight into our financial assistance program, with a large portion going to our counseling program. And then a very small portion is what goes towards our operation expenses for staff and, keeping the office doors going.
Yeah. You got a business to run as well, right?
Yeah, we got to pay staff. Yeah, staff. We do got to pay staff. So
okay, so you have all these resources for musicians, and people that work in the music industry, and much needed resources. So if I was somebody that needed to, say, access, let's say, the mental health services, how easy is that for me to do?
It's so simple to do. First thing we do is we ask someone to register with Unison on our website. So you go to unisonfund.ca, you find the register button, which is right on the homepage. You click it, and you basically provide Unison with your basic contact information, who you are, what you do in the music industry. And then once that's completed, you can call the 1-855-9-UNISON phone number and talk to someone at Morneau Chappelle, our counseling service provider. And as soon as, it's kind of like when you walk into a hospital, when they triage you and they say, okay, what's going on? How can we help you? What's the situation? The same situation happens when you call Morneau Chappelle, right? Someone's going to say, okay, what's going on? How can we help? If it's a 911 crisis situation, you get put through to someone immediately. And last year in 2020, we saw a 208% increase in urgent counseling crisis intervention calls. So we're really grateful that people understand that Unison is there to help them, and that they are picking up the phone and saying, I need help, and calling for that support. And really, that's it. And then you tell the person at Morneau Chappelle what it is you're calling about, and they connect you with the right counselor, therapist, legal advice, whatever it is you're looking for, they'll connect you with the right person.
So as someone who's worked in the music industry for, let's just say, a long time, it's been, I've been in the music industry for almost 20 years. I'd say that due to the unconventional nature of the business, it's very difficult for people, especially musicians and those that work in the live music sector, to look after their mental health, especially while touring. What are some things that you would recommend to help with musicians' mental health while they're on the road? I know this is a weird question because nobody's touring right now, but maybe something we can put in our back pocket until that happens again.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say definitely apply it for when you're touring, but also even during this pandemic, because even though we're stuck at home, it's still a very stressful situation that we find ourselves in.
Totally.
So a lot of it comes down to taking care of yourself and carving out the time for you. So if you need, if you do meditation or you do workout, you take the time for you. That's important for your, not for your only for your physical health, but for your mental health. Eating well, making sure you stay hydrated. The basic nutrition things that they teach us in grade school are so important to carry through when you're on the road touring, because it's very easy to get wrapped up in staying up till 3, 4 a.m., drinking a 2-4 or eating fast food because there's nothing else available. It's very simple to get wrapped up in that world. And I've been there, having done a little bit of touring with various organizations in my career. But as if a touring musician who's on the road more than half of the year in a normal year, it's easy to get wrapped up in that lifestyle. So, when it comes to nutrition, I would say, take the time to go to the grocery store, buy the healthy snacks and things like that on your rider. Ask for healthy things on your rider that you can bring back to the tour bus and, take that with you. I'm not saying don't have a drink. If you want to have a glass of wine or a beer, absolutely. But let's just yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine. Let's just be realistic with how many, days and nights you're going to do that in a row and the toll that takes on your body.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, it is important to talk about the part that alcohol plays in all of this too, like the part that alcohol plays in our mental health. And given that, so many shows take place in places that serve alcohol, it's a weird thing, right? Because it's hard to to look after your physical and mental health. And also you're doing this night after night. So, it is important to, I know a lot of artists that just don't drink while they're touring or, just quit completely, no judgment either way. Yeah. Would you maybe, you've talked a bit about that, but would you maybe recommend artists, think about, how much their alcohol affects their mental health as well? Yeah,
I think it definitely affects their mental health, their physical health, their overall well-being. Because, as we all know, the more you drink, you have restless sleep. You're not getting, the real deep sleep that's required, especially for the amount of energy that you're burning when you're on the road. Like people think, oh, you're on the road and you're in your tour bus 12, 15 hours a day, but that becomes draining in itself. Yeah. So you really need to have a proper sleep as best you can. And we all know that alcohol affects the deep sleep that you can have. So again, there's no right or wrong. I'm not suggesting that somebody shouldn't have a drink if that's what they want. If they want to stay clean during the tour, that's amazing as well. It's really a personal choice that everybody has to make for their own well-being and for that of the tour too, right? Like you want to make sure, artists always want to make sure that they're best on stage and the band is performing at their best. So I would say think about what impact drinking every single night is going to have on your performance overall long term. You want to be the best for your fans. You want to give everything you can on stage. I know so many artists that say that. Well, if you're up drinking a bottle of whiskey every night, it's probably going to have some kind of an impact, whether you think about it or not. It is going to affect your mental ability to perform at your best. Yeah, no, that's totally true. I think musicians learn that as they get older, as we all do. Absolutely. 100%. Yes. What you're able to do in your 20s, maybe not so much in your 30s and 40s, right? There really is wisdom in age, Jen. Yeah, there is. You just can't do it like you used to. That's what happens. I think it's more like the recover time, right? Like you can't bounce back like you used to. And also it's the sleep. I know for me, like I don't drink a lot, and a lot of it has to do with just I can't operate at the capacity that I need to if I do drink, or which is, if I do, I only have 1 or 2 drinks, because otherwise it's all over the next day if I go beyond that, right? Oh yeah, I've been there. I hear you. I've been there. The start of the pandemic, it was interesting because I think most people felt like, oh my gosh, what is happening? How are we coping? And 100%, I drank way too much wine, probably the first 6 months of the pandemic. 100% I can say that. I think everybody did. Right? It was a stat that was out there. People were talking, the news was talking about the increase of alcohol consumption right across the country. And it really did play a part in my, sleep deprivation and then trying to manage the team, trying to help as many people as we could with our programs. It took a toll on me personally to really have to step back and be like, okay, I need to not drink so much wine. I need to not buy that box of wine and
maybe,
just buy a
maybe
bottle.
we don't need that. Maybe we don't need the whole box.
No judgment for those that do, but yeah, I was like, well, maybe I should stop buying a box of wine.
No, it's true. I think that I was just talking about this with a friend of mine the other day about how I think it had to do with the fact that there was so much unknown that I think it was just like we needed to check out in a way. And, and that's what alcohol provided for us. So it's like no judgment for anybody because it's like nobody knew.
Absolutely.
We were all like, what the hell is going on?
Absolutely. There's no judgment for anybody who's had to deal with this pandemic in their own way. Like we just got to do what you have to do to get through for you and for your family. And yeah, just support each other. That was my whole key message last year for my team was just like, what do you need? How can we help? Have each other's backs. And we did, I think we got through it together as a team.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you have to listen. You have to listen to your team members, like that's the whole thing. And we're going through something we have never gone through before. So there's like no rule book, right?
Exactly.
Like, I think this is fine. I don't know.
Like how many times in a year can I use the word pivot, or how many times in a day can I use the word pivot and unprecedented? I'm like, I'm so sick of these words, but they, as is the rest of the country.
But it's true.
But it's true. Yeah. We just have to keep, evolving and changing and dealing with things as they come at us and helping as many people get through the situations as well. So that's what we do at Unison. We're just trying to help as many people as we can, as quickly as we can, as efficiently as we can, and, make sure everybody comes out on the right side of this pandemic.
Well, I'm really happy that you guys are there. I'm happy that you exist. It would not be a great industry. I mean, we're going through such a hard time. I mean, our industry is not doing well right now. So we're so grateful to you and your team for being there. That's for sure. Part of the problem with anyone seeking support or talking about mental health issues is the stigma that surrounds mental illness. I mean, it's getting better. I think there's been a lot of initiatives to get people talking about it. But I know just from my experience of talking about my own mental health, I talk about it as much as I can. There's still people, like if I say something like, oh, my therapist said this or whatever, there's still a sort of like pearl clutching sort of, way that people are, which suggests, that some people don't think that we that's not something you say out loud. That's not something that you talk about. I know it's like really easy for people to access your service without feeling like it's a big deal, but do you have musician ambassadors? Do you have people speaking on behalf of the service to make people feel like you don't have to feel like so bad for reaching out or for having mental health problems, like it's fine?
Yeah. I mean, we've certainly had artists over the years that have spoken up about accessing our programs, and maybe they don't even need to access our programs, but just saying like what you just said is that it's okay to talk about it and it's okay to have these feelings and it's okay to get the support that you need. I think a great advocate in the mental health world right now is Dallas Smith. Dallas is very open. Absolutely love that man. He's fantastic. He's a great supporter of Unison, and he's just open. He talks about how he's feeling and is not shy about saying it's okay to get help. We've had other artists over the years that have certainly stepped up and talk about Unison, the importance of Unison, whether it be, like I said, the counseling or the financial assistance program. Because all of Unison's programs are completely confidential, we don't typically ask people to talk about, what help they've received.
That makes
Usually
sense.
They are coming forward on their own time to share their own story if they're comfortable. Otherwise, it's completely confidential. If you apply for financial assistance, outside of the allocations committee, which is a couple staff members and a board member, we don't talk about anybody's names. We just say, this is case number, 456. Case number 456 requires this assistance, and that's what we provide. When it comes to the counseling program, we don't get any information from Morneau Chappelle regarding names or where people are calling in from, or, we get basic demographic information. We get, the reason they're calling, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's because if we want people to feel comfortable and secure to ask for that help, because it's hard to ask for help. It's really hard to put your hand up and say, I need help.
Yeah.
So we applaud people when they do that, but we never force anybody to share their story. It's completely on their own terms if they want to talk about it.
No, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd like to touch on a bit about how, the music industry is such a, it's an unstable industry. It's you make a lot of money and then you don't. if you're not in an album cycle, if you're not touring, which nobody's been able to in this past year, it's a financial struggle. There's a lot of there's a lot of people struggling financially in this industry, and that can really tie into your mental health as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wonder, could you talk a little bit about that? Just, how being unstable, not having any money, that can make you feel so worthless, and that maybe you're doing something wrong, or it's a horrible business for that. And, it's so tough, to deal with. It is.
It's really tough when you're struggling financially. The impact that plays on your mental health is huge. And especially if you have a family that you're also trying to take care of, and, the fear of not being able to feed your children, or, keep a roof overhead or something. I mean, we are hearing those stories all the time. And, we try to talk to the individual and get the money into their hands as quickly as possible. But then we also encourage them to call the counseling phone number to talk to somebody about that as well, because financial stability is such an uncertain thing, as you said, in this industry. And that's not new with the pandemic. No. It's certainly been heightened by the pandemic, but it's not new because it's an industry that really works paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. And financial stability, financial literacy, it's just an ongoing concern that we're trying to assist with. We're trying to do more financial literacy panels. We're trying to help people understand, in the good times, how to save properly and how to put that money away, so that in the rough times, when you're in a down cycle, or, you're off the road touring, that you're not panicked to pay the rent or to buy the groceries. So we're trying to have those conversations with financial professionals to bring that education to the industry. And then, when especially now during this pandemic, it really is all about keeping a roof overhead and food on the table, medical expenses covered. Yeah. Those are the basic things that we're trying to help with at Unison, so that the play that has on your mental health is not quite as severe if you know that you can feed your children, right? Like that, the two are so closely tied together. They really are. And I don't think people realize that. And I think I just want to touch on a lot of people in the industry understand everything that we're talking about, right? Because they're living it and they get it. But people who are the music fans, the general public, that is also an area that we're trying to educate, because people think, oh, you work in music, you have it great. You're living the rock and roll lifestyle, and they don't understand the negative connotation with the rock and roll lifestyle. They just think you're out having a great time on the road. You're doing you're living your dreams, you're loving your life, but they don't understand how difficult it is to actually live that lifestyle. And another thing that we're trying to also, to educate and to touch on is, people think that if you work in music, you're on stage. Well, you and your band are on stage. If there's 12 of you on stage, that's great. But the hundreds of people that it took to put you on stage, those are the people in the industry right now that are suffering even more so than the people on stage. It's the touring guys, it's the riggers, the lighting technicians, the management teams, the booking agents, all those people that are the hundreds of people that are behind the scenes to put those 12 people on stage to do a performance. Yeah. Those are the ones that are suffering even more so right now than the musicians and the artists that are typically on stage, creating albums, releasing songs, because they still have some ability to put something out on the internet, on the socials. They can still do a show or something. The rigging guy has nothing.
No, he
can't do a show.
He can't. And the thing is with the live music sector, with everybody that works in that part of the industry, is a lot of those people are just to say the P word again, are just pivoting and just saying, screw this. Yeah. I can't do this anymore. This, what am I waiting for? I don't know when my job is going to come back, and who can blame them? And I think that a big concern is that we're losing good people as well. It's gonna, we won't know the effect for a few years that this is going to have on the industry. But
last year, the Canadian Live Music Association came out, they did a study, and one in four arts and entertainment recreation workers have permanently lost their job. So that already, there's a quarter of our community is gone, Oof. Not coming back to our industry. And that was stats from last year in 2020. So I don't know what the current stat would be, but I would think that we're probably getting close to a 50% of our industry is not going to come back, because they've had to pivot and find a new job, find, new work. And it's probably much more stable work, So why would they come back to an industry where there's so much uncertainty? And really, realistically, our industry is not going to return to pre-pandemic times until, I think they're telling me 2023, 2024.
Yeah.
We're still a long ways away
Yeah.
from being where we were in 2019. And that's tough. That's tough when you've got a family to feed and you got to keep a roof over your head and you want the best for yourself and the best for your kids.
Yeah, it's true. And you can do everything right, but I'm sure your savings are gone now. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's even if you had like money saved, like how long has it been since you've been on the road? It's just, it's awful.
Exactly. And the government, it's been great, for those that can access that government money. But, if somebody hasn't, for example, filed their taxes for a couple of years, again, no judgment.
No, but which happens a lot in this industry. It's like, I've seen it with a lot of musicians. It's, it's no judgment on the person why they haven't done it. Absolutely not.
But if you haven't done that, then you can't access the CERB funding. And if you can't access the CERB funding, well, how are you supposed to feed yourself with no government money? And so there's been a lot of, I think, talk about that. Hopefully we can just get as much of our industry back to it as quickly as possible, when the opportunity permits, and, get everybody vaccinated if vaccinations are what you believe in. And again, no judgment if it's not, but I think if we want to go back to the way things were, then vaccinations are the way to go. But that's my personal opinion.
Very diplomatic of you there. Oh my God. All right. So just to wrap things up here, I wanted to ask a little bit about you, because you know what? I actually don't know a lot about you. I was thinking about that. Where did you come from? What were you doing before you became the executive director at Unison?
Oh, what did I do before Unison? Well, I, similar to you, I have been in the music industry now for about just over 20 years. I started in radio back when I was in college.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of country music. I love country music. Always have. It was how I was raised. And so I decided when I was in college, they say you have to go get this internship. And I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to do something, I want to do something that I really love. And what I really love is country music. Now, I don't have a musical bone in my body. I cannot sing. I cannot play. Like, it is ridiculous. My animals run to the other room when I sing. So I thought, well, I can do the business side of this industry. And that's really where I started. So I started in radio and promotions and marketing, quickly moved into a summer job with CMT when CMT used to do a touring, all the major country music festivals across Canada. That was my first job at a college. I got to literally drive across this country going to country music festivals. What
a fun job.
The highlight. Oh my gosh. And right out of college, I mean, you're like
yes.
21. Yeah, like it was just a big party when I age was on my side. And then from there, I still stayed in country. I went to the Canadian Country Music Association, mm-hmm. and I was with them for quite a few years. And then I realized that I wanted to learn more about this industry and sort of diversify my skill set and see what else was out there. And I've had an amazing career. I'm very grateful for everything that I've seen and I've been able to be a part of. So I went to work, quickly. I went to the Junos. I did a short stint with EMI Music Canada when we had that major label. Mm-hmm. I was with Gibson Guitar Canada for 5 years.
Oh, I remember that now. No, I do remember you from that.
Yeah. I loved my time at Gibson Guitar. I mean, that was truly eye-opening for me. And then I was with Canadian Music Week for a short time. And then I was with World Vision, the children's charity. And they had a music program, and I managed the country music roster. So that was really where I decided that I want to be doing something in this industry that's giving back, that's bigger than me, that's bigger than, just what I want to accomplish in life. I want to do something bigger. And I loved World Vision because I got to travel with them. We took an artist, Michelle Wright. We went to the Dominican Republic with Michelle and got to see firsthand the amazing work that World Vision does in changing the lives of children. And it was transformational for me, and I loved it. And I'm so grateful for the 5 years I got to spend with that organization. And that is really what led me to Unison, because I realized I needed to do something bigger than me.
Yeah.
And the woman who was the executive director at the time, Sheila Hamilton, has been a long-time friend and mentor to me. And she said, hey, come work for me. I can't pay you, but come work for me. And I said, absolutely. What can I do? How quickly can I jump on board? And that was in 2015.
Wow. That's exciting. I think that I totally understand that the feeling of wanting to give back. I think that if you work in this industry long enough that you kind of start to feel that you want to like you've done so much work in it and you want to do more.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just me having an existential crisis of some sort, which, we're all hitting that point of the pandemic, I think as well, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that seems like as good a time as any to wrap this up and head on over to our fresh content segment. Now, every week on the show, we discuss our favorite piece of music content for the week, and we always like to start with the guest. So, Amanda, what do you got for us?
Well, if we had done this interview yesterday, as we had originally scheduled, I was all about Tim Hicks has a new album out called Campfire Troubadour or Troubadour Campfire Troubadour. And it's brilliant. I love it. Tim is a friend. Tim's music is amazing. He's been a big supporter of Unison, and I'm absolutely loving this new album by Tim Hicks. Yeah. And then last night I watched the Pink documentary that just came out, the artist Pink. And I've been a big fan of Pink since her very first album back in, I don't know, what was it, early 2000s? Like, I just love Pink. And I watched this documentary and I was reminded how much I miss live music.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought, God, I can't wait to get back, to seeing these live tours and these shows. I think before the pandemic, you take it a little bit for granted that you can just go see live music almost anytime you want. So watching that documentary last night really struck a chord with me because I thought, first of all, she's like a boss lady, like I've never
amazing.
seen. She's amazing on stage. She's an amazing mom. She's running a business. She said, part of the documentary, she was talking about the amount of people that she employs. And she employs, said on this documentary, over 200 people, 225 people, I think is what she employs on this worldwide tour. And I thought, yeah, you know what? You're a boss lady. You are making everything happen and you have strived your entire life to do what you're doing, and look at you just succeeding, not only in the industry, but an amazing mom, great kids. I laughed out loud watching her kids because they are comical kids, but yeah, she's just succeeding. And it reminded me how much I love this industry, how much I love live music, and how much I can't wait to get back to it.
Nice. Where can people watch the Pink documentary?
Amazon Prime.
Okay. I couldn't remember what it was on.
Yeah, it was so good.
And I love Pink. I've only seen her live once. I saw her a few years ago, and I cried during the show. I was just like, I love her.
I love her too. And you know what? I've never seen her live. She's one of few artists that truly, like, for me, it's like a bucket list. Like, there's not a lot that I'm like truly bucket list, but she's one where I'm like, okay, next time she comes around, I don't care where I am or what I'm doing. I'm dropping everything to go to that show.
She's such a powerful performer. That's for sure. She gives you a show, like a stadium show, right? Like,
she really does. Yeah.
All right. So my fresh content for the week is kind of a no-brainer because everyone's been raving about this album, but it's the new one from Olivia Rodrigo called Sour. It was just released last week. And let me tell you, it is one of those perfect pop albums where every song's amazing. It's like the perfect Pink album, right? Like, it's one of those albums where every song's amazing. Kind of like, I don't know. I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, so I'm sorry about this if you're not. But
love T Swift. Love that girl.
I'm a huge T Swift fan, but it's kind of like I feel like her album 1989 is like a pop music like sort of masterpiece. So it hits me in that same way. It's like every song's great. And it also brings a little bit of rock back to pop, which is also what Pink does, which I like. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of been missing from the pop lately, I think. But yeah, I love it. Anyway, check it out. It's really good. And it's available on all of your DSPs. You can find it everywhere, people. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it, Amanda, especially because it's the weekend. So thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Happy to be here. And thank you for having me and talking about Unison and talking about mental health in the industry. And it's an important conversation. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Maybe before we go, you could just give people the website.
Yeah, it's unisonfund.ca. And on our website, you can learn about our programs. You can register if you work in the music industry to access our programs. If you want to make a donation, certainly we would appreciate any financial support someone is able to give. And you can also learn about upcoming events that we have going on, obviously all online, virtual events, but there's a lot going on right now in the industry that, people wanting to support Unison. So you can learn about some really cool things that are coming up.
Yay. All right. Well, thanks again. And I hopefully we'll be able to see you soon and we can, have a glass of wine together or something.
I would love that. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
All right. Bye, Amanda.
Bye, Jen. Thanks.
That was such a good conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks again to Amanda for coming on the show. Thanks so much for listening to the FM podcast. If you like the show, please tell your friends and give us a rating and review in Apple Podcasts. It really helps us on the app, and it's super easy to do. So if you can head on over and give us 5 stars and tell us what you like about the show, we'd really appreciate it. The FM podcast is produced by Fritz Media. If you want to learn more about Fritz Media, check out our website at fritzmedia.ca. And you can follow us on Facebook. We're at Fritz Media. And on Instagram and Twitter at Fritz_media. And if you want to learn more about the podcast, go to the fmpodcast.com. A big thank you, as always, to Said the Whale for providing the theme music for the show, and you can find them at saidthewhale.com. Okay, so we're going to go out with our song of the week this week, and this one is from Fritz Media artist Baby Lung, who just released a brand new single last week. Here's Betrayal.
Head spinning, paralytic, blood dripping down my spine. With your hands bloody, ain't it funny how you still got the nerve to lie? I don't wanna keep telling you to stay away, 'cause I never wanna see you again. But you just keep coming up with new ways to convince me that you love me, just to leave me again. I guess this is betrayal. Leave me out for dead. Stab me in the back despite everything you said. Now I'm lying in my bed thinking why, oh why, oh why. Should've seen through your lies. I guess this is betrayal. Whoa, whoa. Left me out for dead. Whoa, whoa. I guess this is betrayal. Whoa, whoa. I'm lying in my bed thinking why, I don't wanna keep on acting like something's gonna change you. Only thing that's changing is your stories, 'cause they ain't true. Crying on my shoulder, then you tell me that you miss me. Kiss me just like Judas, trade my love for a triple dime piece. Keep telling you to stay away, 'cause I never wanna see you again. But you just keep coming up with new ways to convince me that you love me, just to leave me again. I guess this is betrayal. Leave me out for dead. Stab me in the back despite everything you said. Now I'm lying in my bed thinking why, oh why, oh why. Should've seen through your lies. I guess this is betrayal. Leave me out for dead. Stab me in the back despite everything you said. Now I'm lying in my bed thinking why, oh why, oh why. Should've seen through your lies. I guess this is betrayal. Left me out for dead. I guess this is betrayal. Lying in my bed thinking why, oh why, oh why. I guess this is betrayal. Left me out for dead. I guess this is betrayal. Lying in my bed thinking why, oh why, oh why.
Bye. I'll see you next Tuesday.